Young children, active, busy, curious about the world. In these early years, children grow and learn faster than at any other time in their lives. But when we watch, what do we see? They're playing. As infants, toddlers, at 4 and 5 years. Throughout childhood, they play. Some say play is a child's work. And many play activities do take lots of effort. But we think of work as something we have to do. Play is what a child wants to do, what feels best at the moment.
I'm making a cake. What are you making, Timothy? A cake. Are you? No. What are you making? A castle.
In play, a child can explore and experiment. There's no right way or wrong way. No way to fail. He can enjoy what he's doing. At the same time, he's learning all kinds of things. Early childhood educators know that children learn best through active, hands-on experiences. So they create programs that focus on play. Here, children can try many different activities, use a variety of materials. Through their play, they discover and learn.
Little children learn the least from just seeing something. They learn a little bit more if they can talk about it. But they can take it all inside and use it when they can see it, talk about it, and do it. And that's the difference between play and sort of, quote, formal classrooms where the teacher's sitting up and giving a lecture to the children. Because they're only getting half of the information. Young children never do seem to learn things just from hearing or seeing. They have to do it. And once they've done it, they understand it. It makes sense to them. So through play, it comes quickly, it comes comfortably, and most of all, it comes joyfully. And I can't think of a better way to learn something.
In pretend play like this, children are also learning to work together. Figuring out how to behave. Seeing what's acceptable and what's not. Through play, children begin to see the relationships between things. Gain more understanding of language and concepts. Find out what works through trial and error. And become more skillful. Children need lots of experience handling objects and materials before they're ready to handle ideas. Play builds a strong foundation for later academic learning and for good relationships with other children and with adults. Play also helps children deal with their feelings. Feelings of being angry or frustrated or afraid.
I think play is a way to work out some of those feelings of being afraid. I think that's one reason my son plays with a vacuum cleaner this week. He's a vacuum cleaner man this week, and he plays with it a lot. You put it by my legs? Okay, we'll put it by my legs. Okay, it's all plugged in. That's an attachment. That's an attachment. It comes off. And putting it down.
Yes.
This is the big attachment. Mom hooks that onto the floor. We hook it onto here, don't we?
Off.
You want this off? You want to look at it? Okay, we'll move it. I don't want it to fall on your head. That would hurt. Here. You can look at this hose part. Playing with a vacuum cleaner and touching it and doing all this stuff with a vacuum cleaner really helps him work out his fears of it. I think that's one of the things that is valuable about play. But today he held my hand and I vacuumed and he was totally thrilled, and then he wanted to do it. And so he did it with the vacuum cleaner on. And I think just playing with a vacuum cleaner all week long has helped him to deal with that fear. Play gives them a chance to be in control of the situation. And children are very rarely in control of situations until they get big.
In play, it's the child who chooses what to do. It's the child who makes the decisions and the discoveries. Research shows that children who have had lots of time for free play actually do better in school than children who have not had these experiences. They tend to be more confident, more creative, and they have better language and social skills too. So what's our role in a child's play? We know it's important to provide them with things to play with and to give them the time to play. But is it also important for us to play with them? After all, most of us are very relieved when children can finally play more on their own and with friends. So why do they need us to play too?
I think when we play with children, we're sending them a message that they're important, that they have things to tell you, they have good ideas, they're learning things and they want to share it with you. And there's a bonding, I think, that occurs too, you know, whether it's a parent and child or a teacher and child. They feel important, they feel special. You've taken time to spend time with them, to interact.
Children are excited by all the new things they can do, and they want to share them.
I'm watching you. What you gonna do? What's this? I'm watching it. Wow, look at you go down. Look at you go down with no hands. You went like an elevator?
Giving children recognition and encouragement helps them build confidence and self-esteem. And children who feel good about themselves are usually more independent, more able to step out on their own and try new things.
I think I learned about play through necessity when, in my first year of teaching. It was, this is almost embarrassing to talk about, but I came to preschool out of secondary education, and I thought that the way to teach children, all children, was the lecture method. You know, you stand up and in high school you lecture about Chaucer, in preschool you lecture about fish or weather or colors or whatever. And so I did that for a couple of weeks and discovered that the discipline problems were so awful. Kids were running around and screaming, and they wouldn't sit down when I told them to. Not that teenagers do either, but and they wouldn't line up, and they wouldn't do all of these magical things that I thought they should do. And suddenly I realized, with a little bit of help from my supervisor, that what they needed to do if they were going to learn about colors was touch colors and see colors and explore with different colors of paint, all of those kinds of things, rather than hear me talk about the wonderfulness of red. So that was my very first exposure to the concept that play is a valuable thing for children, that play is what children do, and all of those other things that may or may not be valuable with older children have no real place with preschool kids.
For decades, experts have studied how young children learn. They tell us that play is the young child's learning laboratory. It's active, hands-on learning, learning by doing. Even very young children will try something over and over. Stay at it. Try to understand more, to become more skillful. A child's play experiences, at home and at school, build learning in the very best and most natural way. Let's look at how play helps young minds and bodies develop. Physical skills. It's easy to see how active play helps young bodies grow. And nothing characterizes childhood more than movement. Children love all kinds of active play. They need to be physically active every day to gain a sense of what their bodies can do, to build balance, strength, and coordination.
Here's one for you, Colleen.
Children want to use their small muscles too. Young hands need to try all kinds of different activities. Young hands get stronger, able to do more precise tasks. Soon they'll be able to control pens and pencils as they begin writing.
She had food in her basket.
Through play, children are continually refining their physical abilities and becoming more skillful.
Basket and go someplace like the park.
Thinking skills. Learning to think is more than just collecting facts. It's being able to organize information and use it in a meaningful way.
And once you see a child involved in pouring water and so intense, or looking at the water wheel and turning it over and upside down and around and really exploring it, you can see that, you almost see the little brain going around and the child processing what's happening, what happens when I do this, what happens when you put the water in the other end. They're taking in information and then organizing it, and basically the child, through his experimenting, is really doing a lot of discovery learning.
Sorting through colored macaroni may not look like it takes a lot of thinking, but it does.
Macaroni. That was good work. You see any more in there? Only
You're done. And maybe I'll give you another one.
Okay. There you go.
Let me find some more. I'll take that.
Could you see some of the things this child was doing in her head? To find the rings, she had to compare different shapes and sizes. Then she sorted out all the circles. And then she counted them. All important thinking skills.
I take these shells.
All right.
Look.
Look at how these children have taken an idea in their minds and turned it into a real object.
Wow, this is so big. Who made this?
Me.
You did?
Both of us.
Both of you made this.
Oh, my baby.
These are Mexican things? Oh my goodness, I've never seen that
They
before.
look like butterflies to me.
Look like butterflies to you? Oh, wow.
That really is fun.
How did you get this? Do you think it'll fall down?
These.
It's got these?
These to hold it.
Oh, and that'll make it safe?
To erect their 6-story castle, these 4-year-olds had to solve a number of problems. To discover what worked and what didn't. During play, children are observing and planning, encountering problems, and finding creative ways to solve them. As they move on to more formal learning situations, children build on the thinking skills they've developed through play. Language skills. Children are born into a world of spoken language, and they learn language by listening to words and by using them. In play, children are learning from their parents, their teachers, and from each other.
This.
Here's a head. Nose.
This.
Eyes.
Ah.
Does this look like it could come off? It's a big nose, isn't it? It's an elephant trunk.
This.
It's got eyebrows right there.
It's through everyday experiences that language becomes meaningful. For example, here, Daniel is playing with toy cars. You can see that he already understands a lot about cars. He knows they make sounds. He knows how they move. Daniel has a growing understanding of what a car is. In his mind, a mental picture of car is slowly taking shape. When he hears the word car, he begins to associate the word with his mental picture. Before long, he'll begin to use the word car. All language is acquired this way. Lots of experience. Then an understanding of the object, what it is, what it's for. Finally, the word for the object takes on meaning. These preschoolers already know much more than Daniel about the world of cars.
No, this is only a one-way street. This is a one-way street. He didn't see the sign. That's not a bus. That's a motorhome. Motorhome.
As children listen to others, as they talk and play, language takes on meaning. It's a process that goes on and on. Social emotional skills. The key to building confidence and self-esteem, to making friends and enjoying others. Learning how to get along with others takes practice. Practice that comes when children play together.
I got pieces.
Remember to turn them all the way around, Alex.
Go down here, Colleen. Yay! We did it.
Oh, isn't that a good feeling?
These children are learning to work together, to cooperate and to share, learning how to help each other.
Okay, there's...
But play can also involve conflict. And it takes experience to learn how to handle frustration and anger. Children need to learn how to use words instead of force to solve their problems, how to use restraint and control themselves. Learning to deal with feelings and respond appropriately is a lifelong process that begins with a child's play.
We have a problem because Nicholas wants to roll it, but do you know what this sign says? You jump in, so it has to stay on the floor, and then you put your feet here and you jump inside. So jump inside. Try it. Good. Now jump out. Okay, and then follow the arrow. Where does the arrow take you?
We've seen that children develop skills and knowledge as they play. But the real power of play is that in any experience, a child has the opportunity to learn many different things. Play brings it all together. Adults who take the time to play are helping children learn, too. How does this happen? When we join play, even very young children may get more involved in what they're doing and play a little longer. So, they can take more from the play. Extending playtime extends learning, too.
I think for some parents there's a fatigue factor. You know, they're too tired and they don't take the time, or they don't have the time to play. But if they would play, I just feel like they would, number one, they would get to know their child better, and they would enhance the child's play. They would be building the child's confidence. And all they have to do is just get down and play the child's game.
Playing the child's game. It's not as easy as it looks. Often, adults feel so much pressure to help children learn, they forget that play should be playful.
A lot of parents are comfortable with letting their children play. Where they get concerned is, does play provide the right foundation for later academic learning? And that's the question that makes them a little bit concerned about letting their child come to preschool and play, or at home they may feel like they need to do real structured activities to get that child ready for school or ready for academic kinds of learning. And I think there's a pressure almost that parents feel to not just play with their child or enjoy their child, but do structured activities. And they don't seem to realize that we're taking away from children what most experts feel is the most important part of that foundation, and that's just time to play.
Watch this student teacher during her first day in a classroom.
And after 7 comes, after 8 comes, and after 9 comes, and the last number, 10. 10, good.
Doesn't look like much fun, does it? Play needs to be enjoyable. Otherwise, a child quickly loses interest.
So now we have...
Oh, that one went in.
Here's another way to play with a child. Look at the difference.
Try some more. Okay.
See how Carrie's enthusiasm affects Megan.
It went in. Try another one.
Okay. Oh no.
Oh no, didn't go in. Try another one.
Okay.
It went in. Try another one.
Okay.
Now, as Carrie comments on the colors of the bean bags, see what happens.
Another green. Yellow. Yellow.
What?
Yellow. Red.
Red. Yellow. Green. Oh.
We call this positive approach playing the child's game. The adult becomes a play partner for the child. She doesn't direct the play, she supports it, picking up on what pleases and interests the child, enriching and extending play. Now let's look more closely at how adults can become good play partners, helping children have fun and helping them learn too.
Green.
Observe the play. Understanding how to support a child's play starts with observing, watching play, noticing what's really happening, what interests the child, getting to know a bit more about how the child thinks and feels. Michael watches Alec to see what he chooses to play with and what he does. He sees that Alec, like other toddlers, moves quickly from one thing to another.
Whoops. That's an airplane, huh?
Alec examines the plane, spinning its wheels. Michael can almost see the learning going on.
But I guess I didn't really understand play until I began to watch children in the classroom. And then, of course, the minute that teachers can get quiet and let children play, so much is shown to you. It's all there. If you're just willing to wait and be quiet for a few minutes, they will show you everything that they're learning because they want to come over and tell you, look, 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 see what it did? And that's how you find out. It's very easy when we play with our children to try to anticipate where we want them to go, what we want them to learn, and instead of waiting for them to show us what they have figured out.
To observe in the most effective way, we need to let ourselves try to see things the way a child sees them.
When adults get down to the child's level, I think they forget that they're adults and they begin to see life a little bit more from the child's perspective. And that frees them to watch more carefully, to see what the child's doing with the materials, to get really involved. When you're standing up above children, you tend to be the person who might lean down to tie a shoe or give a direction, but you're not really investing yourself in what they're doing or seeing life from their perspective.
Adults are often surprised at how much they do pick up when they take the time to observe. Understanding more about the child helps us in our efforts to support play.
More pieces.
Follow the child's lead. Perhaps the most important thing to remember when we join a child in play is to follow the child's lead. A play partner's role is that of an assistant. We recognize that this is the child's play. It's what he or she has chosen to do. We're there to make it more enjoyable. Watch Nancy with Gary. See how careful she is to follow his lead.
Want to play with me?
Sure, what should I do? The table's not very sturdy, is it? Yeah. Okay, you tell me what you want me to do.
Take this and make it on.
Oh, so you stick them together. Let me get some more here.
There's lots of them.
So you said you take this and you stick it on here, so you just stick them together. So I'll just stick them together.
But we need some big ones too.
Okay. There's a big red one. Is this one for me?
Yep.
Thank you. I'm going to put my man on top of it.
then on top of it.
Here's a big tall one. Oh, look. Did you build that?
Yeah. And see, this is a sweeper guy.
A sweeper guy? What's he gonna sweep?
See? And he turns it on, and then it goes on and sweeps it up.
Oh, that's a good idea. Like to get our streets clean?
Yep.
Okay. Come clean. My street needs some cleaning over here. It's kind of dirty. Can you come and clean my street, Mr. Sweeper guy?
I got the water.
Hi, you have a dirty street over here. Thank you for coming.
Nancy asks, "What should I do?" She follows Gary's lead, showing enthusiasm for his ideas and plans.
Alan and Caleb are going to join us, Gary.
Sometimes we jump into play with children, and next thing you know, we've taken over the play and we forget to let the child do the playing. And that's easy to do. And adults can build blocks, structures that are so much bigger than a 3-year-old can. And pretty soon the adult's having a great time and forgets that to that 3-year-old, that might be saying, you have to do it my way. You have to do it big and great for it to be valued. So sometimes parents have to back off a little and match their play to what the child can do. So if the child's just stacking blocks, the parent can stack blocks, and they can enjoy that together. It's important for teachers and for parents to let children lead the play.
Here, Sherry plays along with Daniel. A busy toddler who isn't talking yet doesn't give as many cues as an older child. But by watching carefully, Sherry sees how to follow rather than direct the play.
Mom's turn.
Flying the airplane up so high. Oh, the man can go in it. You're flying.
Yes.
Yeah, he's in that airplane. You're feeling all the pulse.
Yes.
My turn. I'm flying the airplane. Boo. There's the wheels for landing. Your turn.
To follow Daniel's lead, Sherry matches her pace to his. Each time he pauses, deciding what to do next, Sherry is able to just wait and watch.
Okay. Got the nail. There's the hammer. Yeah.
Following the child's lead seems like such a simple thing to do. But most of us find it isn't that easy. We're much more likely to want to direct. We're in charge of so many aspects of our children's lives, it's hard not to be in charge here too.
Good idea. Okay.
To be good play partners, we need to become assistants and let children take the lead.
It's in.
Help the child focus. Another thing we can do to enrich play is help the child focus on what he's doing. By showing interest in an activity and being enthusiastic, we encourage the child to attend more closely. By pointing out what's happening, we help the child become more aware of the details, take in more information, more language, and play a little longer too.
What happened?
Listen as Carrie comments on what the children are doing, helping them focus on what's happening.
There you go.
I have my funnel.
Try your funnel that way? Wonder what will happen.
Maybe we'll go
Let's see.
let me in the car.
You put it in the little hole, huh?
Go down.
that work very well?
Yeah.
Look, you're doing it different. Nicholas is putting the water in the big hole, and you're putting the water in the little hole.
I'm making some medicine. Pretend you're drinking your medicine.
Does it taste good or bad?
Bad.
Oh, I don't want to drink any bad medicine.
Okay, it's cherry medicine.
Okay.
It's called cherry medicine.
I feel so much better now.
This feels
Each child is using the funnel in a different way, something they may not have noticed. Carrie draws their attention to how the water pours differently into the small and large ends of the funnel, helping them see and compare what happens. Here, Sherry plays along with Daniel. To help him focus on the activity, she describes what he's doing.
So people can go on the bus. That girl can go on the bus. And that girl can go in. Oh, and that boy can go in, okay. Who's going to drive the motorcycle? Man with the hat? Oh, there he goes. Where's the bus? The motorcycle. Oh, uh-oh. The boy fell out. Here's the firefighter. He has a hat on, too. Hey, I found the motorcycle man with the helmet. What should he do?
Off.
Take him off. He can go on the bus. His hat's so big. Yeah, oh, he has a hat, too. Yeah, he has a hat on. Where's your hat?
Did you see how Sherry pointed out the hats of the different characters? Then Daniel pointed to his own head. Describing helps children think about what's happening, helps them make connections.
And Daniel was putting the little Fisher-Price people into the holes, and I could just watch his little hands working, and they were just, putting them in, and the one guy, his hat was kind of tall, and that, I was watching that, and I thought, my first reaction was to give him a shorter person that would fit better, and I thought, no, I'm just going to let him see that hat, because here he is, that the hat was sticking up a little bit too high, and he kept trying to press it down, and pretty soon, he kind of noticed that the hat was bigger, and that's a concept. Some are big and some are little, and that's something that you learn through play.
It's cold on my arm.
Nancy is introducing these boys to something new, a mixture of cornstarch and water. She calls it oopleck. In a popular Dr. Seuss book, it was oopleck that fell from the sky instead of rain or snow.
And rendering.
And
Big.
Hands are sticking.
Yeah, this is like glue.
Kind of like glue? Yes. The hand is sticking inside. It feels hard, and then all of a sudden it feels watery and running.
Oh, no, we only have 2 people at one time.
Oh my goodness, my fingers just kind of melt into the oobleck.
Illegal move. Do you know what that means?
Yeah, we'll make it real.
Try and grab some inside my hand. I'm going to grab a handful. Oh no, it won't stay inside my hand. It's running through my fingers. Here, Timothy, let me try and put some in your hand. It won't stay hard.
It's going like milk.
Like milk. It's the same color of milk, isn't it? Oobleck.
Like easy.
It feels like they're melting.
Nancy's own fascination with the mixture helps the boys focus on what they're experiencing. She uses all kinds of words: runny, hard, sticky, melting, and gets a lively discussion started. By touching and squeezing and talking about this mixture, the boys can take in information to build new language and concepts.
Have you ever smelled that smell before?
We've seen some basic techniques that help adults become good play partners. Important ways we can enrich and extend a child's play. need to take a little time to watch each child play, to see what interests her and what she enjoys doing. Getting to know and understand a child is the first step in becoming a good play partner. Following a child's lead sends a strong message that we think he's important, that he has good ideas. As the child's assistant, we're there to support play, to make it more fun. We help a child to focus more attention on their play when we're interested and enthusiastic about it. Commenting on the details of the play and being supportive are ways to keep children involved, to help them discover and learn more. All of us have a limited amount of time when we can play with our children, and it wouldn't be helpful if we played with them all the time. They need lots of opportunities to be on their own, to find out what they can do by themselves and with other children. When we do join children in play, they know it's special. By showing that we think children are capable and competent, we empower them, enhancing their confidence and self-esteem. As play partners, we learn to see things a bit more from their perspective, building stronger relationships. At the same time, we're supporting their natural process of learning.